to the podcast. It's your man Lou P, along with Josh and Marvin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's your good friends from the Everyday Nerd Podcast. How you guys doing?
We missed you all.
Yes,
I've missed especially you two. I was about to say three, but our fourth man isn't here.
I know our man behind the scenes, doing his behind the scenes bit. But yeah, it's great seeing you guys. And I know everybody out there's been wondering what we've been up to. Hey, just the way things have been going in life. So I hope you folks understand. So let's jump into it. So you guys want some material from us? We'll give you some material. And today we're going to talk about, and as you can tell by my screen, we're going to talk about the great Black Adam movie that just came out. I like how I said that. From the great one himself, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I got to do the usual bit that we always do. So as of this article I got, okay, it's made 250 million worldwide at this time. And okay, and this is the great thing. It has a goal. I'm going to say goal, and we're going to loop back to this. It has a goal of making $1 billion.
Wow.
So we will talk about that later. But yeah, I have to get the money issues out of the way. So currently it's made 250 million worldwide. So, pretty good, judging by that, pretty good. And then again, we'll get into the money and some other things about it. But out of the chute, I will tell you guys, since I'm the one yakking right now, I was very entertained. And here, I'm going to throw this little caveat to it also. I watched this movie in that 4DX type of thing, or 4X, or I don't know what it is. But
what chain did you watch it with?
I saw it over at the Hacienda out in Dublin.
Is that AMC or Regal?
It's a Regal. So it's Regal.
I don't know what Regal is. Each company has their different ones. I know Metron has the IMAX. Cinemark has XD.
Much. So I have to tell you guys, if you guys have ridden in like Star Tours or Smuggler's Run, that was the feeling I had, along with the people that were watching the movie with me, is the fact that, think of it that way. You know how the ride ends in like 3 minutes, but for this was 2 hours. It was a 2-hour ride, so for me,
sounds almost very innuendo-ish when you say it that way.
Exactly. But here's the thing though about it, just straight up, the fact that I gotta admit, because of the extra ambiance, the feel of it, because like when a fight would happen, your chair would move like you're battling. You would feel the hit, and then you would hit back. And then like when there's a rain scene or water scene, you feel this mist come down. So it was pretty interesting. That's kind of why I say I was very entertained with this movie, because it really stuck out with me, the experience I had watching this movie. So
you think that's the way? Yeah. Do you think that's the way movies is going to be? Like,
I know for the past few years, Cinemark, some of their seats, not the entire auditorium, but some of their seats have that kind. I don't know if you call it a rumble feature, but every time the bass booms, you really feel it in your chair. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but this kind of thing, this kind of experience has been around for a little bit.
Yeah, and I gotta say, guys, I gotta admit, if I was just watching this straight in a regular chair and all that, it might be a little different. But I had a fun time watching this movie. So
I mean, as cool as it is, I still prefer the recliners, especially for watching a long movie. You just want to sit back.
Well, I saw it like it was a 10 o'clock 10:30 show. We went matinee. So it was just way too early for some popcorn, even though someone ordered a large bucket of popcorn. But I went Century, and I don't know, it was just comfortable. I liked it. It was comfortable.
Yeah. So I mean, it was comfortable. That's good. Well, let's dive into this movie. So Marv, you want to dive into it with us? Go ahead, talk to us. What are we seeing when it comes to the great one being Black Adam and everything? I know you could break.
The dude is yoked. He is jacked. He is cut. I can't. It's almost impossible to believe how big that guy is. Especially if you followed his career as a wrestler, the fact that he looks better now than he ever has in the prime of his WWE career, it's oh my goodness, it's inspiring, especially he's almost 50 and he looks way better now, especially like me. I'm a guy, not to gloat. I'm kind of trying to get in shape, but seeing someone like him who's in his 50s get into that shape is like, you know what? Don't ever say that age is a factor that you can't look good. That guy got better with wine. If there's one person that can make The Rock look smaller, it's The Rock himself. I saw that joke somewhere. It was just funny. He's like, only The Rock can make The Rock look small. But as far as the movie Black Adam, like you said, I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's the best DC movie. Sorry, Jocelyn. I still think the Suicide Squad is the best of the DC movies we've seen so far. I'm not even counting the Joker, which I mean, I'll talk. I mean, maybe we'll talk about the Joker, but as great as Joaquin Phoenix is, is anyone still talking about that movie?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, that's not a movie I can watch again. Anyways, about Black Adam.
Yes.
Like I said, it was a fine movie. It was entertaining. I don't know. There's some, maybe it's just because I'm a Marvel guy. There's just something about these movies I don't really have the urge to watch them again. Or like, when you're at a party or at a friend's house, you just need a movie to play in the background. Like, even if I put it there, I'm like, That's why when I always hang out at my brother's house, every time we're there, we always put, just there, we were just watching Captain Marvel or one of the Avengers movies, and then you could just go get sucked in and enjoy it again. But like I said, I don't know why these DC movies just aren't rewatchable for me. Not like, and it's not to say that they are terrible. It's just, okay. I mean, we all have that. There's movies that they're fine, or there are movies that have been really good too, but can't watch them again. It's like, okay, it's come and gone. I mean, yeah, there's definitely some things that hint at a bigger future that we'll talk about the future of the DC movies near the end of the podcast. But for the most part, this movie was fine.
Joss?
Okay. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah.
I hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I can't tell. All right. Sorry. Okay, so this movie, like I said, it was comfortable. Again, it's an origin story because I had no idea who Black Adam is. I had to ask, what's the relationship between him and Shazam? Because I noticed that there's a connection there. I thought it was entertaining. I didn't understand. Well, I was also surprised about the Justice Society. That, oh wow, they actually put that into this movie, so now it exists. I thought that was pretty cool. Hawkman was interesting. I didn't expect him to be Hawkman. I didn't know how Hawkman was going to be portrayed. The overall story itself, it was interesting because it felt like, hey, they're really trying to market, or not even market, but just really emphasize diversity. And how they were saying how, with Black Adam, or I forgot what name they had given him or what his name became, was that, he's the hero for these people.
I know in the comics name is Tethawan. I need to look that up.
Tet, I think
his name is Adam.
Tet Adam.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, you already have your Batman, you have your Superman, you have your Aquaman. He is for us. Because nobody else has ever helped us. So I thought those points were really, were really good. I was wondering, why doesn't he speak much? I felt like with Dwayne Johnson, I felt like he just kind of carried the movie, but his dialogue wasn't really developed, in my opinion.
Historically, I found it funny that, okay, he came from ancient, was it Persia, in the Middle East, in like BC. And at the time, the English language didn't exist. So, clearly they were speaking a form of Persian.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, here comes Black Adam. Also, he knows how to speak English. He knows how to speak a language that didn't exist when he was around. I was like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I felt like he it was mostly, he was communicating, he was acting, through his expressions.
I think it was just to make him more like a presence in the beginning.
Yeah, his presence. But when I watch these movies, I like the story. I like the story development. I like to know, like, and I thought actually, I have to say, I was really surprised. And sorry for you people who have not watched this movie.
Oh yeah, we forgot the spoiler warning.
Yeah. Sorry, we're so rusty. So sorry, I cracked myself up.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was, I didn't realize that, okay, this was about his son, and they're saying it's his son, who is the hero in all this. And then who he was, at the beginning when they showed the little boy or that one boy, and then I thought it was the father, and it was the father, but I really thought the father had like went over the edge, or just something like that. But I didn't realize the twist that they put in, and I thought that part was good when that twist happened. So
where it was the son inspired or the father inspired by his son.
Correct.
Because it's usually the other way.
Right. But the way that they showed it first, I thought that was good because, again, I'm looking at action, and I'm also looking at, just what is the story and all this. So I thought it was good. It was comfortable. And like you said, is this something I would watch again? Not really, but I'd have it available. But it's not something I would, maybe if we're at home, it's like, okay, put on HBO and then put it on. But it was okay. It was good. It was all right.
Okay. Well, you're listening to the Everyday Nerd podcast. That was Jocelyn. There's Marvin, and yours truly, Lou P. The one thing I want to stress, though, is that, and this is what's interesting about you mentioned, Joss, how Ted Adam, his whole demeanor was like, he always stressed that he was not a hero. He always stressed that. And, you figured initially, okay, he wants to be the anti-hero, all that stuff. But the reason why, we find out later on, the twist you're talking about. And again, we're going to do spoiler alerts here. So if you haven't seen
when they were advertising this movie, when they constantly tried to say, I'm not a hero, it's, just my main problem with the DC movies in general is they're trying to go out of their way to make this a grim comic universe, especially when you try to make Superman grim. I personally don't think Superman should be grim. He should be the most inspiring person you ever see. You see him just like, that's the man I want to be. So for me, I just felt like, oh great, they're going out of the way to remind themselves they're not going to save your life. It's like, okay, we get it. We know you guys want to be different from Marvel. We get that. But to try to go out of your way to say your entire universe is all, we're going to kill you. It's just, it like I said, it's a little off-putting sometimes because, like I said, especially when some of these are heroes you should be looking up to. But then, as you brought up, there's when you saw, there's a reason why he does not see himself as a hero. Yeah. You're like, okay, I buy that. Because
that had a better meaning to that line. And like you said, Marv, I mean, the whole time, okay, anti-hero, I get an anti-hero, and it's like, well, why? They kept kind of they would kind of push you to the line of, well, why is he that? And then you just end up, because he's a god or he has powers. But then you realize why. Now, what's interesting, Josh, you brought this up too, about the fact that the people he was protecting, how they straight up told the judge, and I found this scene interesting, how the Justice Society's coming in saying they're doing what's best for them.
Right.
Oh, really? Where were you this whole time when these other people took over our country? Now you're here because we have a guy who has superpowers and can defeat people like nobody's business. Suddenly you're going to show up now? Where were you this whole time? And I love that part. The fact that, the Justice Society is trying to throw we're here for justice. The whole, we're the good guys bit. We're the heroes. Oh, really?
I do want to say, I really like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
Yeah, we're going
to
touch on Pierce on this for darn sure. But that's what I love that scene. The fact that here comes the Justice Society. It's like, where you been all these years? And now you're going to show up. And the only reason why you're showing up is because we finally have it. And again, we're going to do it in air quotes. Well, we won't say the word hero, but we have a guy who's actually doing stuff for us, who's protecting us. He may not do it the textbook way like you want to do it. That's the one thing I walked out of that scene from, how the mother expressed to them that, hey, look, and even he said it. He may not do the textbook way of, well, you do it this way and guys get arrested and
no killing.
Negotiate. No.
But I think, as we see, Amanda Waller, she said, part of it is, okay, yes, we only show up when you have this super guy, but you know what? What's to stop him from saying, you know what? Kandak isn't enough. I want more. What's to stop him? I mean, yes, it's a little messed up that, they only show up when they have a super powered being, quote unquote, protecting them or present in their country. But at the same time, you kind of get why they're afraid, because especially this guy they could just tell that there's this guy isn't as noble as we like to think our heroes to be. And the last thing we want is for someone like that to be let loose on the world.
Mm-hmm. But I also think that it's about power. When it comes to Amanda Waller, or just even when you think about the Justice Society, in my opinion, the fact that they work first for her, or been brought together, it's not like an independent group saying, hey, let's all get together. There's an organization structure, or an organizational structure with all this.
That's what I don't disagree with. JSA is not a part of Amanda Waller's crew. They're not a government agency.
But the fact that, but the fact's like, okay, let's go bring him in. And you were saying, it's like, who gave you the right, who gave you control or the power to, go to another country and say, we're, like you said, like, hey, this is the way life should be. And we're going to take this guy out because he doesn't fit our norm. We didn't know, we see him as a threat.
Yes.
You know what? I just watched, sorry to bring up the other company because we're not talking about Marvel, but I just watched Civil War not that long ago, and all the stuff that we're talking about was the same stuff they discussed. You're like, the
Sokovia.
They're like, what? Yeah, where they send, what if they send us somewhere? Or what he said was, what if we're supposed to be? What if we're somewhere that we shouldn't be, and what if we can't be where we should be?
But you know what it made me think about is that when they finally got, him under control and he let go of his power, and they brought him to that prison where he was supposed to sleep or, just be incapacitated for the rest of his life. And then they did a show of all these other, not coffins, but other, holding cells.
Yeah.
And there was tons of them. And it made me
I was trying to see who else was in there.
It made me wonder, right? It made me wonder, like, who else is in there? And were they really that bad? Because if you think about it, we're only looking at from one side.
Yeah.
So it's interesting with this movie, how it's giving you a different angle now of, what really is, what really is justice, and for whom.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who decides what justice is? Who decides all these? Who makes all these decisions?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, okay, and we're touching on what we liked and disliked about the movie. Of course, the action sequences were great and everything, and again, for me, the experience of being in a chair and you're fighting, you're kind of fighting in the chair and everything. But again, let me ask you guys this: since it is Dwayne, and people have brought it up, the fact that Marvel at least is trying to be consistent in this area. The fact that he's a megastar, he's box office, he's an action hero, yet last I checked, they weren't in Samoa, or, he's a Samoan black man. And people have brought it up. Now, hey, I think he pulled off the role great. He did great. But again, the fact that,
you had a half Samoan, half black person playing a character who is of Middle Eastern descent.
Yeah, of Middle Eastern descent. So, again, And I
Cultural
know,
appropriation.
yeah, and I know for years Dwayne Johnson has been hyping Black Adam. He's been hyping it for years. And it's like, okay, I get it. He's an executive producer. He put his own money into this, I would think, his production crew and all that. And he's banking on it. And hey, I get it. It's a business. Let's get real. We've always talked about this. So my thing would be this, though. The fact that is it because the attitude I get is like, oh, it's another Dwayne Johnson movie. Not just that it's Black Adam and a DC Warner Brothers movie. It's another Dwayne Johnson action movie. Is it gotten to the point now where it's like, this is me personally. It's like, oh, it's another comedy with Will Ferrell. Okay. All right. He may have a joke here and there that might be, this is just my opinion. I think Will Ferrell's a genius, his early stuff. Now it's like, all right, I've seen this. And again, the thing with this new character that Dwayne Johnson is doing, I mean, yeah, there's bigger plans for this character, which is great. I like that. But do you think, being that he's such a megastar, okay, and like you said, Joss, earlier, the fact that he was so stoic, they wanted to establish that he was a stoic guy and not really, one of the things about Dwayne Johnson that makes him pretty good is that he has a sense of humor, and they had a couple of jokes about sarcasm or whatever.
Or when he was delivering the catchphrase, he kept delivering it too late.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's kind of funny. But, I think the fact, is it Dwayne Johnson fatigue that some of these people may have about him? Or are they looking at this as, hey, it's a DC movie. Let's check it out. It's Black Adam.
It could be both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this movie was sold if he didn't have Dwayne Johnson, to be honest.
Yeah,
because you have to remember,
I don't know Black Adam, and
sorry, I hate to bring up Marvel again, but DC's not at a point where if you put DC Studios on the title that people will run to it. Marvel has already established that they're like anything Marvel, like there you go. DC hasn't got that yet, so they kind of do need the star power and say, hey, look at us real quick.
Well, look at us. Good. Yeah, it's always good to have star power and everything, but like what we talked about,
their brand still needs to be worked on.
Yeah, exactly. And like what we talked about when it comes to the Marvel universe, is the fact that they have some established stars, but then some that they're able to pull off. Where I mean, Paul Rudd became big when he became Ant-Man. When they got, let's be real, when they got Rob Downey Jr. to start that whole thing off, it was kind of like his last shot.
Well, like I said, remember, Marvel had to kind of work for their reputation and for their for the recognition that every time you see Marvel Studios, they're going to sell regardless. Don't matter. You can have a character like that nobody read, starring an actor that you don't know about. Like, I didn't know who Simu Liu was before Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi is not exactly a needle mover as far as Marvel publishing it. Yet that movie made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they put a lot of work into their investment of selling the story. Yes, you have Robert Downey Jr., but it was the story that drew people in. And, like myself, it was a new experience to even learn who these comic heroes are. But it was the story, that really captured people's imagination, and they wanted more. Hence, with this movie, with Black Adam, the same thing. It's, yes, you have another megastar, but is the story going to want people, to want more? Now, with the with that tease at the end, I don't know if we want to share it now, but I'm like, sure, why not? But
let's
there's
dive
that
into a couple
cameo.
points. So yeah, Josh, since you brought it up, go ahead.
Yeah, so again, it's like, did I want more? In that mind frame, okay, you've established the story, established the character. He feels now he deserves, or that he earned, or not even earned, but that he he can wear this role, you know, in with more acceptance as opposed to fighting it. And so having that tease with Superman, you know, meeting him, I actually went, whoa, I
And
got
not a
excited.
fake out like what Shazam did, where you only saw his
No, it was
torso.
a
You actually
real,
saw
it was
Henry
a
Cavill
real
back as
cameo.
Superman.
Right, it was a real cameo, but that did its trick because with me, now that I know a little bit about you know, about him, I am more excited to see those two either work together or battle it out.
I
To
feel
me,
like we're
that's
just
more
waiting
exciting.
for the other shoe to drop.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, bring it on. Now I want to see that. So with this one, again, it was just like, you know, with Iron Man, it's just establishing, tease them, and then get them on the next one.
Okay. So Josh, that was excellent points about Superman. As you're listening to the Everyday Nerd podcast, that's Jocelyn, that's Marvin. I'm your man, Lou P. And we're talking about the scene at the end of the movie.
When Superman showed up at the end, and how now, you know, and how he's like, we've got a door fully open to see what this potential, you know, new dynamic is going to be, and how, you know, what does it do for the DC and for this character?
Yeah. Obviously it opened up the door, like you just said. It's a pretty much an establishing movie for the DCU, I guess they're calling themselves now. And again, we talked about how they're striving to try to get $1 billion in this movie. The highest grossing movie, obviously, we all know now, is Aquaman, coming in with 1.14 billion. And you know, I don't think this movie's gonna get that much. And then you know, I think the fact that, you know, DC may fall short on some of its goals when it comes to the money end of it, as far as this one is concerned. Maybe in future projects they may be able to get stuff going, but just the fact that now you're seeing an establishing movie, and like what we said off air, Dwayne Johnson seems to be the man that comes in and what did you call him again?
Plus, I also think they're beginning to steer this ship in the right direction because they did appoint, just not that long ago, they appointed James Gunn and Peter Safran as kind of the lead of creative of DC movies going forward. What does that mean? Are we going to see James Gunn's version of the DC universe? Is every movie going to have a pop soundtrack? I don't know, but I'm hopefully James Gunn is smart enough to know that that formula doesn't work for everything. So, like I said, he just got the job. I'm not going to criticize him yet. We'll see how we look 5 years from now, and I'm going to give him a shot. I mean, at the end of the day, I want good comic book movies. I don't care what company you're, Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse. I want good comic book movies, and that's just better for the industry.
I agree. Josh?
I actually read that with Dwayne Johnson. He's somewhat known as the sequel guy, where in most of the movies he's usually in the sequel, and then the sequel, that movie franchise actually does much better. So
Fast and Furious,
the
Fast and Furious wasn't great until he came on. Sorry.
So when I'm thinking about, okay, introducing Superman at the end, it's somewhat of in a sense, another phase, another sequel, in a sense, of taking the DC movies that we've seen so far to the next level. And I'm talking about with the characters that, you know, with Ben Affleck's as Batman, or we had Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You know, are we really going to see all of them unite again? You know, we don't know, but this could be like another reset.
I don't know where Ezra Miller's going to be, if he's going to be available.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's get Grant Gustin in. Let's get Grant Gustin in.
Yeah, I'm for that, but
you know, let's clean it up here. That's
a whole podcast on its own.
Yeah, but getting back to where do we see DC going? It's gonna be interesting because I think, you know, we're gonna see with new leadership and, you know, with these new sets of movies, I think they're going to I think they're going to finish up this next phase, however, whatever phase you have with the new Shazam coming, with that Flash eventually coming as well. But, this could be like another reset to start, a whole new set of stories. And we also got the Justice Society. So, are we going to see more of them? Because the characters that they actually had here, they were introduced, like Hawkman, according to that vision with Dr. Fate, I thought he was going to die. But there was that twist, and it's like, okay, now we have a Hawkman. Are we going to actually see the Hall of Justice one day? That would be
cool. And the
cool.
Justice Society of America, or JSA, they have a very big roster.
Right.
And so I can't wait.
This could be,
there's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Right. So this could be a reset in 2022 of, okay, what is DC going to look like?
Yeah. Well, what I found interesting again, out of all the actors in this movie, Pierce Brosnan by far excellent as Dr. Fate. And again, rumors had it that there was a second post credit scene, and it was supposed to be with Dr. Fate and how his helmet was found again. Meaning, possibly, does it mean Pierce comes back, or is there going to be a new Dr. Fate? So possibly there's going to be, I think they're going to bring that character back, whether it's Pierce or somebody else.
We'll see. I don't know anything about Dr. Fate. So
I'm not familiar with him either.
So whatever they introduce Pierce, I'm still lost. I don't know who he is. And in my mind, I'm thinking, is he equivalent to Doctor Strange? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
I honestly didn't learn anything from his role. So I don't know.
That's true. I liked his performance, but as you said, I didn't learn much about what he does exactly.
Or the young
other than he could see the future.
Yeah.
Is that the Atom? That one young
guy?
Yeah,
Atom or Atom Smasher.
Yeah, Atom Smasher.
No, that's not the Ray Palmer Atom.
That's not the Ray Palmer. Or what's the other guy? There's another guy who plays the Atom. I forgot.
Oster Chow. I forgot his name. What? I know his actor Oster Chow.
Chow. So anyway, point being, I think this could be a reset, like I said, into a new phase, because Dwayne Johnson's the sequel guy.
Sorry, Ryan Choi.
Thank you. Yes, Ryan Choi.
I got. Yeah, I think you're right on that, Joss. And it has to be a reset, because the way DC's been going, they had to do things. And of course, they're not going to just flat out say, okay, we're restarting everything. So it's like, okay, what do we do at this point?
And
got all this material. Let's do something with it.
Could you see Ben Affleck as Batman, like in the same screen with Dwayne Johnson in his character?
Well, if they're establishing that the Justice League exists, I think like I said, I don't know what's going on with this Flash movie, but I think Ben Affleck is in it.
I think it's Flashpoint. That's what it is. It's not Flash, but it's Flashpoint.
Well, again, we could really have a whole discussion on that Flash movie, but yeah, if it were to happen, see that's what kind of sucks about this, is the fact that they get snake bitten again because they have an actor that's causing major problems for that movie. And that movie, I'm going to assume, would have been the springboard to a lot of the material they could have done.
Yeah.
So whatever they decide to do, whether they reshoot it or they actually release it, we'll see. But with that being said, let's just wrap this up with this movie. Again, Rotten Tomatoes, they said 40%, but if you look at the tomato meter, it was 90. Audience score for IMDb had them at out of 10, 7.1. So again, we talked about this about other movies, how there are people out there that are just trying, when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, they're just making
negative review bomb it.
Negative review bots. They're just, whatever. But me personally, I'll start us off on what I thought this movie was. Out of 10, I'm agree with the IMDb folks. I gave it about a 7, but my experience at the theater makes it a 9, because it was a great experience. It turned into an experience. I can honestly.
Okay, what else could you have experienced it to make it a 10?
Well, it was right there. again, if the story was this or that.
If the actors popped out.
No, it's like if somebody hit me and I really felt that punch, or it felt real. It felt as real as you can get. So I got to give credit to those folks. And yeah, I'm sure some of the people that are watching us right now, they're overrated experience, or yeah, I really like that experience. But for me personally, it made it very entertaining. The movie was decent enough that yeah, you walked away with, it's kind of like, think about it, you're walking away with like a smile on your face type of thing, because you enjoyed it so much. You had such a great time. So Josh, your turn. What are you going to give this?
I give it a 7. Stable, comfortable, getting ready for the next one. That's about it.
And our harshest critic, Marv.
I'm giving it a 7. I had a fine time with the movie. This isn't a movie I will watch again. I don't think I'll watch again unless I'm super duper bored and I want to do a DC binge. But I don't know if that's going to happen because those movies sometimes are kind of hard to watch.
Okay. All right. With that being said, we want to thank you folks for taking the time to seeing us and listening to us again. Yes, I know it's been a while, but hey, we appreciate you guys coming by. And yeah, just remember, this is our second show of the year, or third, but get ready, because obviously we plan on doing, a Black Panther one. And since we missed out on so much material in this year, we will do a year in review of all the movie shows and things that we weren't able to talk about. That's going to be a special one. And if you guys like to, put in the comment section some of the things you guys liked this year or didn't like, and maybe we can put it into the discussion that we're going to have when it comes to the year in review. But other than that, you folks have anything else you want to say to the kind folks that are listening to us and watching us?
Nope, we're good.
Wow, everybody's
Kandak forever.
Yeah. That's Jocelyn. That's Marvin.
Shazam.
I'm your man, Luke P. Just want to thank you folks again for watching us here, and DJ GOC. Much love. Always remember you. And thank
our
you.
Silent partner.
Yes, and our silent partner, Jesse. Want to thank you all for taking a listen or watching us. Get ready for our next show coming soon. Take care. Peace.